Hi everyone, welcome back to our next story problem. So this one we're going to talk about rate, time, distance problems. So the formula this is all based around is this one right here, which says that average speed equals distance traveled over time passed. Now the only thing we're going to be able to handle is when speed is a constant rate r, and we can write this formula right here then, where d is the distance traveled, and t is going to be the time that passed. And notice that we can solve for either variable. So if we solve for d, we'll get this formula right here. So distance equals the speed times the amount of time that's passed. Or you can also get time is equal to distance divided by speed. So let's look at this example here. We have a two-woman rowing team, and they can row 1,200 meters with the current in the same amount of time as it takes them to row 1,000 meters against the same current. So, and then we know that without the current, they can go 3 meters per second. So, let's look at their speed. Their speed with the current. Well, they're going to go 3 without the current, and then you add the speed of the current in, and since we don't know that, we'll put in an x. The speed against current is going to be 3 minus the current, because the current's going to slow them down if you're going against it. But we know it's not greater than 3 because if it was greater than 3, they would get overtaken by the current and be swept down the river. So now the time with current, let's just write it out, is going to be the amount of distance traveled over the speed with the current, which is 3 plus x. The time they took to travel that distance against current is given by the formula 1,000 over 3 minus x, and we're told that for these amounts resulted in the same time. So these two things are equal. So we can set these two equations equal to each other. So we get that 1,200 over 3 plus x equals 1,000 over 3 minus x. And now we can solve for x by cross multiplying. So we'll get 1,200 times 3 minus x equals 1,000 times 3 plus x. And multiplying through, we'll get 3,600 minus 1,200x equals 3,000 plus 1,000x. So I'll subtract the 3,000 first. And these cancel, and we'll be left with 600 minus 1,200x equals 1,000x. I forgot a 0 in the previous line. Then subtracting or adding 1,200 from both sides. These cancel. We're left behind with 600 equals 2,200x, and we can divide both sides by 2,200. And this leaves us 3/11 equals x, and this is approximately 0.27 as a decimal, and then this is going to be meters per second for our units. And there's your example. So we'll do one more story problem type with mixtures, and then we'll be done with the section.